are live from Gallifrey.
Yes! We are back to talk about what's amazing, what's important, and what's real. That's right.
And about what takes you away, which is today's episode that we watched.
Oh, I love it. Look at that. You just went ahead and threw in the title.
Also, we have music playing. No, we don't. Just kidding.
There you go. I'm sorry. It's called a delay. I messed up, guys. So, Norway, 2018.
Yeah, and we only have one more episode after this one. And then Doctor Who, we don't get another one till New Year's Day, which is sad. And we are still a little bit bitter about not having a Christmas episode.
A little? A little.
You know, I'm just trying to minimize it. We're really upset that we don't have a Christmas episode this year because Chibnall said
Chibnall, I'm pissed at you. Chibnall, I'm pissed. I want something to change, and it's not changing.
How are you out of ideas? How are you out of ideas? I feel like we've already discussed multiple ideas that could be really great for a Christmas episode.
For a Christmas episode, we have had multiple ideas. You know what? In fact, I think our audience would have multiple ideas.
I think so, too. So for those of you that are in the chat, and if you could pass it around.
Yes. In fact, yeah, if you guys can pass around what we want to do, we want to show the people at BBC and Doctor Who that there are still options for a Christmas episode. They're doing a New Year's episode, but the reason they're not doing a Christmas one is because they said they have no other ideas. We believe that there are a lot of ideas out there, and we think that you guys can actually help us get those ideas out.
Donnie Pearson, for you in the chat, if you have any Christmas ideas for a Doctor Who episode, we want you to submit it.
Yeah, simple. It can just be a synopsis. Who's in it, what's happening, where they are, and what's going on. You don't even have to end it. You can just give us a brief synopsis, kind of breaking down exactly what you think a Christmas episode would and should be. And all you have to do is submit it right over to us at ths@thathashtagshow.com. You send us that in an email, and we will collect them, put them together, and then what are we going to do?
We are going to have our own Doctor Who Christmas special after the 10th episode.
Boom!
That next week, we are going to share everyone's stories.
Yes.
On our live stream.
Yes.
We are going to have some hot chocolate that I'm going to show Larry Newbill up. He's on the chat right now.
She's coming for you, Larry.
I am.
It's happening. It's happening. You're going to be donezo.
And we're just going to have a warm Christmas moment on... Not next Sunday, but the Sunday after.
The Sunday after next. So you got 2 weeks, guys. So you can go ahead and write those articles, send them over to us.
A synopsis, a story. If you have dialogue that you want us to mash together, we are going to create our own fanfic Doctor Who holiday special for 2018.
Yes, it's going to be one of the most amazing things ever, and you guys please be ready for it. Once again, just send us your synopsis of a Christmas episode that you would like to see happen right at ths@thathashtagshow.com.
But yeah, so that'll be in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But for this week, like you said, we were in Norway 2018, which seems not so sci-fi.
No, but we knew we were there because, well, the doctor ate the soil.
Yes, which so weird, but that's...
But I loved it on so many levels because
and that's a helpful little technique to have, to be able to eat dirt and find out that there is a gift shop just a few miles down.
Just a few miles down. It's because psychically she's able to do that by eating the dirt. I think that's it. That's just how it works. Why not? Let it happen.
All right. Thanks.
Oh my gosh. But okay, what was interesting on this episode? So they knew where they were, and they knew what time period they were in. But when they look over and they see that cottage to me freaked me out. The
like
inside
Cabin in the Woods, kind of.
Not Cabin in the Woods, like Blair Witch type of freaked me out.
I know, with the extra barricades that are just kind of like sticks put up on like some slats.
Right? I didn't understand what was going on.
And it's a dilapidated house with like big gaping holes in it. And you find out that this is where Ryan and Hanne, his daughter,
well, Eric.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not Ryan. Eric.
Eric and Hanne are going to be living, or that's where they are living, on holiday, guys. On holiday. This is what you do on holiday. You live in a dilapidated shack.
That's like the worst Airbnb I've ever seen.
I don't know, but those rankings are going down for me. No one's getting anything good. But the interior does look like pretty much just an homage, or Chibnall's homage to Seven. Because it just looks like a serial killer's kind of hideaway. He's like, this is my lure, and this is where everything is. But the interesting thing was, also with that, the way it looked, it didn't look inviting. But that's funny enough because the person that was inside was blind and they wouldn't tell what it did look like. So
See, that's
it
what I
was
was wondering.
home.
I wonder
It was
if
just home for her.
Eric just picked this because, like, oh, my daughter's mine. It's fine. We can totally live in this shack.
But that's also a problem. And we're going to jump around. You guys have seen the episode, and we're going to assume, of course, you have. If you haven't, it's okay. You can let this episode play still. And then after that, come back and watch it again and rewatch.
Yes.
But what was interesting to me was that he definitely did not care about his kid. If he did, he wouldn't have picked that horrible place for her to be in alone while he goes out to have time with the mother. And then, on top of it, never thinks, let me bring you to your mother.
And has this elaborate scheme to set up speakers to teach his daughter that a monster lives outside
Oh, my
and
God.
will eat them if she
Come
goes
on.
outside at a certain time every single day. So this means every single day,
Yes.
Eric has left his daughter alone, who is blind, to fend for herself, to go into another dimension, like through the looking glass, kind of Alice in Wonderland, like to see his dead wife.
Yeah, I mean,
That's not really his wife.
And that's not okay, man. It's like you skirt your responsibilities to go ahead and have your cake. That's what it was. And it was like, dude, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Just bring her along, man.
Right.
It's not hard.
I
It's
mean,
not hard.
yeah, sure, there's some, like, flesh-eating moths in there, but I'm sure, like, the
you
little...
you can manage it. You
He's
follow
been
the twine.
managing it every
Clearly.
single day for at least several months, I think she said,
Yeah,
when her
yeah.
mom had passed
so
away.
I'm like, whoa, so you've been going back and forth this whole time? How long has your vacation been? See, that's why I need to move to Europe. Because I can go on vacation from my job.
They moved. They moved.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
from the
okay,
city
never
to-
mind. Okay,
yeah.
from the city to the farm. Wow. But still, once again, how was no one there to say, like, child services or something? Because he's leaving her there alone. She's a teenager and he just leaves her there. Come on, dude.
And
I don't know.
it's kind of a weird thing, too. So in this episode, we get introduced not only to Eric and Hanne, but to ribbons and flesh moths. And that's what you need to go through in order to get to this kind of idyllic,
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know,
this
Coraline,
yeah,
other mother
yes.
house kind of place.
Yes, that's
So-
exactly it. And it was like, that's what you had to go through. So you had to brave all of this to get that. And does the reward match up to the task? Like, you know,
But even
going
then,
through all
like,
that?
Ribbon seems pretty greedy, and he was like, I need something to trade, and it has to be of, like, high value. So what has Eric given him on a daily basis to get through this?
I wonder.
And I mean, you see some dead rats? Is that what
I wonder,
Eric...
did Eric, like, I killed all these, like, giant, forest rats. And now it's like from Princess Bride, those
Oh my
giant,
goodness,
those
yeah.
giant rats, where it's like those giant evil things
Yeah.
and you show up, oh my god, you're killing him. Like, I wanted to see him kill one off screen and then be like,
just
all
mash
right,
it.
okay, all right, let me feed that moth. You're like, what did you just do? Oh, I had to take care of something to feed this moth. Nah. You know, like, it was not okay for me in any way, but I still laughed and I loved it. He reminded me of Gollum,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
because he was just kind of like, you know, my precious,
And his little light-up balloon torch and
Yeah.
going through. So, I mean, the premise of this one was a little bit weird for me compared to the other ones. Like, we jump right into it in the beginning. It's not that media and rest kind of, like, going into the adventures that we saw in the first few
Yes,
episodes.
yes.
We get, hey, this is where we are. This is what we're doing here. Let's go figure out what's in the murder home.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, the murder home.
And then we find out you go through the looking glass, through ribbons, and
Yes.
bribe him with some stuff and hope that you don't get eaten by a flesh moth.
Oh, man.
And then you end up
And
in a
it's-
world that gives you exactly what you want, kind of.
Yes, but there is a cost, and the thing is, you don't know what that cost is until, which is
Yes.
ultimately, I just want you here and I don't want you to leave. That's probably why he never was able to bring his daughter, because the thing is, when he's like, all right, let me go back and get her, she's, no, don't leave yet, or something, and he just, all right, finally, I had to work so hard to finally get away from her, now I just want to go right back to her.
But, like,
I'll
bring
her
your
later.
daughter, like,
I'll bring her
you
later.
as a father.
Dude, immediately, if I walk through a
That is a
mirror
hor-
and I find this perfect, ideal world and my daughter's dead mother is right there, and I'm like, we didn't really have any problems, and you died while we were married, and that's, okay, cool. So you're amicable, I'm amicable, this will be a perfect life. Yeah, let me bring my kid. You know?
Yeah.
God, he was just like, nah, she's gonna cramp my style. I don't have time for this. I've got a lot of catching up to do with your mom, if you know what I mean. Stay here and just pretend you're in the village. Like, that's literally what he did.
And like
played
locked
a
up
monster
in the
and
house.
locked her in.
And like tricked her into staying in the house by building this
The
make-believe
mon-
world
dude,
that monsters are
once
going to
again-
get her.
once again,
that is some psychological messed up
M. Night Shyamalan because he's like, all right, this is my homage to the village.
Yeah.
That's exactly
I haven't
it.
seen that movie, but
Oh, so
I
that's the whole
100%
thing. Oh my
agree
God.
with
So,
what that is.
I'm gonna real quick.
All right.
I'm gonna give her a synopsis, and this is kind of like how I would like you guys to do for when writing to us. So essentially, you get a film that starts off and you think you're in their puritanical days, kind of thing like that, and there's like tales of monsters in the village, and you have to do particular things, don't wear red, and all this stuff, stay away from the monsters. Okay. Ultimately, you find out. Here's the spoilers, guys. Be ready. That's right. It's right over my head. Ultimately, you find out that they're not in puritanical times. They're actually in current times, and they are on like giant acres of land that these rich people have come together and bought. So this way they can protect their families because every one of them have suffered a loss. Like, and my child died, my husband died, my blah blah. So I'm getting rid of the regular world, and I'm going to the village to live life, and that's it. And then ultimately you find out at the end, not even that the monsters were fake and blah blah blah, but you find out that they're in a current time. You find that at the end in a really good reveal. That's all I'm saying. It's not that good of a movie. Just look on YouTube for the reveal.
I mean, it sounds kind of interesting.
But that was a synopsis, guys, and I did that pretty quick. That's the kind of synopsis we're looking for when you guys send them over to us. Remember, it's a simple synopsis that we want of a Doctor Who Christmas special. Just kind of tell us, well, this is what I think should happen on it. This is what I want to see on it. And this is going to be like the plot. Here goes the setup, here goes the plot, and here goes the twist, or whatever it may be. Just give us that. And what we are trying to do is put that together and create an actual Christmas special, like a fan Christmas special.
And you can submit those to THS at that#show.com. We want to hear your Christmas special ideas, and we will share them, not next week, but the week after, and we will have our very own Doctor Who Christmas special.
That's right. So you guys in the chat, make sure that you're ready for it and share as much as possible. Shout out to you, Edward. Also, hello, Thomas. Glad you guys are here. Yeah.
And if you are confused, we are not talking about the village. We are actually talking about Doctor Who.
Yes. So
it takes you away. And we are in the middle of it, but we got a little side synopsis of the village because that does tie into this.
It's so much so. Now it's like, my hand in hand, it's so close. Like, here goes his father once again, and he can't see past his own selfish need to figure out what other people do need as well.
Which is interesting because Hanne is actually blind, and this is a trope that, the blind, wizened person actually sees more than the people with actual physical sight, which we see in this episode as well.
Yep.
That, this girl who is young and alone and doesn't know anything at least knows more than her self-centered father.
And that was one thing where she definitely chose to trust. It's like they say, out of the mouth of babes, or, well, that also counts, right? Because she's a kid speaking to a parent, and she was the one that figured out some stuff quicker than anyone else did. And then also the blind leading the blind is, once again, she is blind, but she's leading them, and they're blind in a way in which they don't know what's going on. But yet she still did. And also, she was able to figure out that just from the hug, you're not my mother.
Yes.
That was great because it was like, well, you guys aren't paying attention properly, but she is.
And she knows, and it's like, and I think most children will kind of know this, that your parent, not even just parent, but your mommy or daddy versus your guardian is someone different.
Yes.
And she already knows, which is kind of interesting too, because this whole episode kind of took a flip, because in the beginning we were watching it together. You were really upset at Brian being super insensitive towards Hanne.
For me, it was very uncharacteristic of Ryan to be as insensitive to Hanne as he was by saying out loud right there, her dad just popped up. He left. That's it.
And Yaz was the first, being a very family-oriented woman, was like, yo, you need to calm yourself, man. This girl is in a traumatic situation right now.
I don't know where your chill went, but you need to find it and make sure it's there.
Zero chill on Ryan in this episode.
Yes, and she was upset, and I was upset too. And the thing is, I was far more upset, more the writers, because the thing is, I know why we did it, so this way we can see him change and blah, blah. But the thing is, we had episodes prior where it was kind of like the whole understanding of, okay, this is a kid who is losing their parents, and he was so concerned then. So why did you have the concern then? You don't have it now. You have to be consistent as a character, and you weren't, and that's my problem with it. But it doesn't mean that it was a bad episode. It just, that was my issue with it.
But
and
the
that's
thing
what
is,
made me upset.
Ryan was right. So you know what? Ryan being a dick.
Dang! Okay,
Let me just say
okay.
that you know
All
what?
right.
He was 100% right. Her dad is like a deadbeat.
He
left
was.
her in a shack.
Dude.
He even was like, hey,
Ultimately.
what about food? He's like, there's food in the fridge. She can microwave it.
Dude,
And I
okay,
was like,
Ryan had no problem. He was like, yo, I was a latchkey kid, so can she be. I have a disability, so does she. We're fine. That's what Ryan was, ultimately. Like,
That's
look,
true.
we'll figure out what happened to her father, but while we do, she's fine to be here by herself. She was already here before us. She'll be here after us. Let's take care of stuff. That's what Ryan did feel. Ultimately, he was the one that was far more grounded concerning everything. Hey, her dad left. That was it. He's a deadbeat. I know. And there goes Ryan can sniff out deadbeats.
Yeah.
That's it.
But, and I don't know. This episode had a lot of good moments of like introducing things in the beginning and having them kind of tie up in the end where we saw that Ryan was right. But also I thought it was super cool where, you know, we have the doctor who, you know, mentions in the beginning, I love me Sonic. And she does. And it does have, I thought it was going to have a bigger play, to be honest, because when they go to Ribbons and Ribbons is like, I want your like cylinder thing or whatever.
All right.
And I was just like, and I thought it was going to be this emotional, like, hey, I'm going to give it to you. And the payoff was really minimal, in my opinion.
I didn't expect an emotional exchange.
Okay.
I expected an exchange where ultimately he ends up taking it, she doesn't have it, and then we get in the middle right now a new sonic screwdriver. That would have been cool for me.
No, I love that Sonic, and we are too new in
but
this
it's like,
series
who cares?
for her
We
to
need
just
to sell
give
more
it up.
toys.
I
Let's
mean,
get a new Sonic out there.
she's gonna make it out of like flesh-eating moths. And
Yeah, well, no, anything. You know,
there's
she's
not
like,
a lot
no,
to work with.
no, but she can be like, I'll be right back, and she can go to the TARDIS. Hey, TARDIS. I know we had some
they are in like
issues,
a crack
but,
in dimensions about this
but
like
she can
conscious
just go right back.
galaxy.
She followed the line and goes right back. And even though he cut it, it fell. She can still pick it up and and then after that, all right, let me head out of there. Blah blah yada yada. And then, hey, TARDIS, bing! Oh, it's like a microwave. And then she comes back in.
I mean, I guess I don't know. The payoff for
new.
me was like a little bit. I thought they were setting it up for more. When it's like a lovely Sonic, I wrote that down immediately because that means she's gonna lose it or have to give it up.
Bing!
But then
That's exactly what happened.
Ribbons just gets destroyed. The moths come like. The first, I want to say, like 20 minutes of payoff for everything wasn't great. I kind of felt like they threw a lot of things in there that didn't
pay off.
Yeah,
that's very true.
And
very
it's
true.
different because all the other episodes, I loved it and I thought it was super great. And this one, I don't know. It did have some like good moments in the beginning, like Graham and bringing sandwiches because obviously this is a pretty long adventure that takes a whole day and he doesn't know how long it's going to be. But I thought that was a cute little characterization.
I love the sandwich thing. He's like, no, I always bring the sandwiches. Yeah, pickle and cheese. You never know how long we're going to be gone.
How did no one notice that pickle smells are so pungent?
Yes.
How did no one know that?
I'm like, he had to have it wrapped up. It was in cellophane or something like that.
All right.
So he had it wrapped up. But my thing was, that was dope. They've been doing this a lot lately on Doctor Who. When someone does something that's so weird and it's not the doctor, they usually have a clip or a scene after where that person is defending what they just did or said that was so erratic. Yeah. Like they have a defend your tweet moment every week with someone. And lately it's been last 2 weeks it's been Graham. And this week was, here it goes, I'm carrying a sandwich. So you just happen to carry a sandwich and then we cut, commercial, comes back and he's like, yeah, I mean, who knows how long my sugar's going to be, blah, blah, blah. I love that kind of bit.
Graham gets hangry.
I love that
so
bit.
So he knows that he has to bring a sandwich with him on all of these adventures, which I thought was super cute.
It is.
And I don't know, there's a lot of these little moments that I feel like really continue to characterize these characters, even though the spotlight isn't necessarily on them. Like when Ryan mentions like, hey, we're not vampires, right? When they don't see the reflection in the mirror, and I'm like, that's that's a really cute thing.
Oh,
I don't know. It makes
man.
him immediately endearing.
It did. And like when you talk about the spotlight itself, since it definitely was a spotlight on Graham.
Yes.
Finally, and we talked about this, how we said we have seen a spotlight episode on this person, but we haven't seen one on Graham fully. We got
this
a
was
bit of
definitely,
Yes, it was.
especially when we get to Grace. So they go through it, like Graham spots a light and he's like, oh, there it is. And they follow the string, you know. And, you know, our producer actually brought this up. The string going through is like the Fifth Doctor. If you want to.
So the Fifth Doctor, at one moment, there's a moment where he has to find his TARDIS. I believe. No, he has to find a room inside the TARDIS, and it's like, was the TARDIS in a state of flux where it was changing?
Well, no, but it was
during that time.
He was post-regeneration.
He was, yeah, okay, there you go.
About to regenerate,
so,
and he needs to figure out.
Well, no,
how to
he's
do
post.
this.
He just finished regenerating, and he just became the Fifth. And so he's trying to find a room in there, and he takes the string from his his giant
his
scarf, and he takes the string and follows it all the way to that room.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of like tie in. I get it, and I appreciate it. But what I did love also with Graham ain't never scared. Graham had a knife up to his neck. And sure enough,
he's making jokes.
He was like, I gotta talk some trash. Why is it that you smell like wee? I love that part. And he was like, oh, well, who's to say it's my wee? And Graham was like, got a point. Once he said that, Graham just put his hands up like, the man's got a point. I'm sorry, guys. I can't argue
if
with
he's
that.
Like,
he could be covering himself in someone else's wee. I don't know. I'm not gonna. Who argues with a man that does that, guys? No one. And he's got a knife. So it was just, Graham, okay, I'm gonna chill. And then later, when he gets grabbed again, he says, how do you smell worse? Like, I just love, Graham has no fear, and he's just like, I'm gonna say what I gotta say. I'm old, and I may die anyway. Like, he's ready for it.
But I don't even think it's that. I feel like that kind of characterization comes about because Grace told him, don't be afraid. And he has embraced this. I think deep down inside he is. Like, he is actually afraid of all of this, and he doesn't really want to do it. And when we see Grace, or the vision of Grace.
We see Grace.
Yeah, like that other dimensions reality of Grace.
Yeah.
You know, and he knows it's not real, but seeing this too, when he was like, don't do this to me, immediately when he sees her, because he's been trying to move past this, trying to be brave, to not be scared and sad that she is gone. So it's kind of like a joking way, like a humorous way to cope, I think, is what Graham is doing.
Yeah.
And he's trying to be brave, and he's trying to like give her memory, you know, like embrace what she said.
I didn't think about that. I forgot that. So that's why Graham does everything he does, and it's that driving force. That driving force is still the love. It's the flame.
Yeah.
He keeps it burning.
And
I
the
like
frog
that.
around, you know, his neck that we see the necklace is like, that was supposed to be for me. And they have this kind of heartwarming moment where it's like, you and Ryan didn't have that conversation. You got me the same Christmas gift.
Oh, man.
And you wear that because it's a reminder of me. And it like just punches you in the guts. And we know that this isn't actually Grace. This is pulled from the memories of Graham, and this is how they constructed this Grace. But oh my goodness, it was so good. That
whole reunion was, in a way, gut-wrenching in one way, and like, just, I'm at a loss for words, really, because it was beautiful the way it was shot and everything. He gets that moment where he sees her, and you know it's her, because first when they said, oh, well, your friend, and I thought she was talking to the doctor, but you'll notice when she says your friend, she looks at Graham. She doesn't look at the doctor. That's why they had them placed in different spots within that room. And she goes, yeah, your friend. And then after that, she looks at the doctor, and they go, huh? And I was like, wait, is it Missy? But why was she looking at Graham when she said? And then once he got out there, I could see her, at least some of the shape, and I was like, oh, that's Grace. And then sure enough, it was Grace. It hit me like a ton of bricks.
And it was a good moment. And I feel like this easily could have been made into a Christmas episode as well. Like, this episode should have been a Christmas episode. And we, still being bitter that we are not getting one this year.
Yes.
Although we are getting a New Year's one.
Yes.
If you guys in the chat tell your friends, if you can submit some kind of Christmas episode idea or dialogue synopsis to us, we are going to put it on the show in 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
we are going to get all of your ideas, and we are going to have our own Doctor Who Christmas special. So
come on, guys. who better than to write a Christmas special than the fans of a show that want a Christmas special?
Yes.
That's it, guys.
So if you're in the chat, tell your friends, submit something to ths@that#show.com.
That's it. But going back to the show, if you had the option, I've got to ask, if you had the option to stay with a loved one or live in what would seem to be the perfect life as long as you stay there, versus this real life that you're in, would you do it?
This is an Inception question.
Yes,
and this
it
is
is.
kind of like very similar to Rose's
Oh,
parallel
man.
universe when she gets left behind. Like, you get your doctor,
Turn
you get your
left, turn
parents,
left.
you get all of this.
All these
And, you know,
things.
it is a hard...
It goes through so many
difficult-
people. That's a good question because you said Rose, but it also goes for Martha with Turn Left.
Yes.
Like, it's so many. Oh, my God. But, okay.
Donna.
Oh, Donna. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Oh,
Yeah.
So sorry, guys. But would you?
I don't know. I mean,
She tried to be slick and not answer the question, so that's why I came right back to it.
honestly, I think I would stay. Like, I would stay in the made-up reality where, like, my goal in life, generally, personally, is to be as happy as I can be for the most time that I possibly can be.
So net happiness versus net pain. That's your thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And knowing that
Reach your sliding
it's
scale.
real versus fake, it doesn't matter if that's what I'm living in that moment.
Damn,
I
you are-
would stay in the fake world if that brought me happiness.
Yo, Shorty, you are mad real. Because that is what I would love to say, but I do not have the strength to say it because I have a kid, and I think if I ever thought it, then I would actually do it. And then when it actually came up, I'd be like, sayonara, kiddo, and live on like just a happy life. And she's like, where did my dad go? And, you know, I'm just gone.
That's true.
I don't want that to be the case, so I can't ever say it. I can't put my mouth to say it, but yeah, I would try to pick the same thing. But yeah,
And then for
no.
those of you in the chat, what would you do? Like, if you had this idyllic alternative reality, would you want to stay there knowing that it wasn't real? Or would you always choose the real life knowing that maybe there's going to be a lot of hardship and a lot of pain?
Yes. And you can't do the Eric thing of going back and forth. You clearly see what happens.
Yeah, like
You
that.
go back
They're
and
going
forth,
to be
the world
broken up.
falls
You
apart.
got to choose one or the other. If you could choose the fantasy or the reality, which one would you pick?
Which one? Which
I'm
one?
super curious.
I would love to know. You guys have to tell us. That would be a good one. But see, the thing is, with that reality, which was interesting, is so it's a reality that is its own universe, and it's also conscious. It's sentient.
And that's how it made what you want it to be. It's like lonely. It just wanted to have people and have friends. And that in itself was kind of a really sad and depressing idea and existence for this villain's. It's not even a villain.
It's
but
not a villain, essentially, and it's a victim of circumstance. Is
The
what I feel.
antagonist in this
I feel the
episode.
solid tract itself is a victim of circumstance. It happened to be there at the moment of creation, or what we consider, creation or whatever. And when everything is being formed, as far as the universe being formed, here goes solid tract. Like, oh, so what's going on here? I've been here when everything was void, void of shape or whatever, and now I'm here and. Now the universe is being formed. The universe looks over at Solid Track, says,
We
"There's
can't
not
be
room for there's not room. You've got to go over there and make your own universe, like
yeah,
I just
put
did."
into exile.
Yeah.
And like can't connect with anyone else. And that is a lonely, lonely existence, even
that's-
for
man.
a universe. This solar
Yes.
track universe that,
That's man, and that's so unfair. But it was like, wow, it brings people in.
But you feel it too, because when you see Grace and when you see Eric's wife and they're like, don't leave.
Dude.
Immediately I'm like, okay, I get that this is an antagonist. This is one that's making our heroes, may not survive out of this or whatever.
It
but
gives
you
them a choice.
feel bad for this solar track.
But I love how it's only an antagonist because it essentially gives our heroes a choice. Because I brought you to a point where you have to make a choice, I'm now a protagonist. I'm now the antagonist.
Yeah.
I'm a bad guy because you have to make a choice. That's kind of interesting when you think about it. It's like, but the way it did it was kind of underhanded, and that's what made it actually an
Yeah, it
antagonist.
definitely did try to trick you, and they made that really apparent. Like you're tricking them.
Yeah.
And then, any of you in the chat, would you stay in the fantasy reality? No,
Yeah,
not a fun
just-
question.
No,
Come up
no,
with your own
no.
questions.
Hey, no problem,
And then
no problem.
ask us. Maybe we can have a more. I don't know. I want to interact with you guys, and you guys are.
I want to know what's going on. I mean, seriously, you guys. It's like,
Yes.
it's like, I see you and you guys are definitely watching me. I'm tired of that. No, it's like, it's just as bad as me having to pick out of 7 grands and saying this 5th one is my favorite.
Okay, but that's weird. Okay, can we also talk about the doctor? So she says, she's had 7 grands, and the 5th is her favorite, which is, so are the grands her actual grands that are just regenerating, and the 5th regeneration is her favorite? Or is this something like, all the wives of the doctor and then like the grand-in-law or something, and that's how I have 7 grandmothers?
I hope it's not the case where it's like, hey, P.S., on Gallifrey, we are all polygamists. Like, just like we have a bunch of people we're married to.
But I mean, we don't know a whole lot about Gallifrey.
We don't know. But what I'm thinking is, I think it's the 7 generations. Okay. Regenerations. And he's like, I like the 5th one the most. But that brings the question to, so your grandmother was some adventurer also, or what? Like, what did she do on Gallifrey that made her always have to die and regenerate? And remember, not everyone on Gallifrey can regenerate. It's only the Time Lords, and Time Lords are supposed to be chosen. You're supposed to look into the Infinite Schism, blah, blah, all that stuff.
So
but
maybe
I think
it was
that's
like that
changed.
panel of people, like, is that all your grands? You look at them as elders and like
yeah,
the ones that you
I
respect,
wonder,
so...
and that makes me bring up the question of those witches, the ones that have the ability to help a Time Lord choose their regeneration according properly. I wonder if that's what she's referring to, almost on an emotional level, when she says 7 grands. I wonder. I don't know. But that's kind of going too far. Who cares? I don't know. I just wanted to give it an option. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it would.
She does. They do hold a place in the Doctor's heart. I know that for sure.
And so does Hypnotoad at the end, apparently, because they are best friends. And saving this for last, but the Solitrack decides to turn into a puppet frog and talk to the doctor.
Can I look at you and say, don't do this? Because you're about to kill that frog. You're really about to squash it.
It's
Here
like
it comes.
the frog out of nowhere where it's like a little puppet. It's like, hi, doctor. I'm so lonely, be my friend. And I was just like,
when you know what time is weird and you wish you weren't here.
That's a better one. That's
it. Kermit, like he's like, oh well, hello, doctor. Yeah. Hello,
There's
doctor.
also a little bit of Ninjor. You got
it
a little
is
Ninjor in there.
Well, Ninjor and Kermit are both the same voice.
Okay.
Same voice.
Yeah, or any of you, I was just like, what's going on? Where did this come from? Like, the production value is so high.
That's the
and
thing
then you gave
funny.
me a puppet frog. Like, I like it if it's like kind of tongue in cheek.
Okay,
like
this is the
else.
thing. Yes, the thing is, we spend buku bucks on all these other things, transitions,
and locations,
blah, blah,
and
everything.
Like everything.
Title cards, they look amazing. It's in 4K as we shot it and made it in. But let's make sure that we get a rubber frog because we still got to keep it very Doctor Who-ish. So let's bring a rubber frog just for that one moment.
And like friends.
That's exactly what it did. It was like, I'm so lonely. Aww.
And the doctor's just like, friends help friends face the truth. You're a puppet frog. Reverse that polarity. Let's get out of here.
Reverse that polarity and let's get out of here. Oh my god.
That was also something that Yaz said, which is a Doctor Who thing, which
that is.
Actually Doctor Who didn't create reverse the polarity.
No, the Doctor was not the one to actually say reverse the polarity and made it popular in sci-fi, but the Doctor did make it popular in sci-fi. Yeah. That's right.
Well, they're not
well,
the
no, Doctor
one
didn't
that
create the phrase.
They didn't create the phrase.
Yes, exactly.
The show just made it a popular.
He did
phrase
not
for
create
sci-fi.
it and then make it popular. He only made it popular. It was something that already existed. There. That is what I'm saying. Can I aim right at the camera and just like, haha? No, I can't. I will hurt people behind us. Yes. And then they'll hurt me after. So no. But my gosh, I think we hit everything except
for Graham. We love Graham so much, and we've made so many predictions over, the last 8 weeks, that we were waiting for this moment when Ryan would finally recognize Graham as Granddad.
We thought it was going to be one of those where immediately the episode would start with us here crying because Graham was dead.
And Graham's not dead. And I'm so glad that we are wrong.
Yes!
I am so
Thank you,
glad
guys.
that we are wrong.
I'm so sorry to not believe in you, Graham, the way I should have. Trust me, I will
The
from
most
now
capable
on.
person, most intelligent,
Serious?
aside maybe from the Doctor.
Yes.
And
yes. the most useful. Graham has always shown himself to be useful, where everyone else has moments where you're like, I don't know.
Packs the sandwiches, knows all kinds of historical information, is a bus driver, connects to like all kinds of people.
Sounds to me like what you just said was Graham is a boss. That's what it sounds like.
He is a boss.
Boss.
I don't say it like that.
Yeah, you have to. Why not?
He's a boss.
No, boss.
Yeah, I'll work on that for
All
next
right,
week.
yeah, next week. yeah, boss. But no, he is. And with that happening, here it comes the big moment, and we get two things out of Graham. We get an Emmy-winning performance where he has to say goodbye to Grace because he knows it's not the real Grace. That was so powerful.
And he knows because it's like, she would never leave Ryan in danger.
Yes.
And that is how much he cares for Ryan and for his family.
That's what I loved, and that's what Ryan recognized. Ryan saw that, and that's why when it came to it, he finally was like, yeah, come on, Granddad. When he said it, did I not? Oh, my God.
And I think that's where, Ryan kind of stepping his bounds and being like, Dad left. Like, he's obviously still dealing with his own father leaving him, has a lot of issues, but finally recognizes in Graham that he has real family.
Yeah.
And I actually cried, and I'm kind of starting to water up as I think about it, because it was so good.
It was so good because it was so simple, but the thing is, it meant so much, and it was something that was understood with the audience and the characters, and that is beautiful. It touched and reached everyone with just a simple word of Granddad. And that is beautiful, man.
And I like how they undercut it with humor immediately, because Graham was just like, wait, what? And it's like, hey, old man, you losing your hearing?
I said,
it's just
I
like,
called you Granddad.
And it's like Ryan kind of picked up his kind of humor of like in these kind of tense or very emotional situations to kind of lighten it up with humor, and I feel like that was a really good reflection.
Oh, man. Well, see, and the thing is, Ryan and Graham, just because Ryan's black and Graham's white, reminds me of me and my mom's boyfriend, because he's white. And so it's just like, oh, because I do love Val.
Projecting.
Val, I love you, because he actually watches my stuff, which is weird.
Ooh.
Just because he's my mom's, he watches almost anything I do. I do something, I'm on something, I'm on a podcast, blah, blah.
Super supportive.
He supports.
He is your Graham.
Yeah, he called me hashtag. He's like, hey, hashtag, there you are. And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. And then so it's like thanks Val, but that's why I was like, oh, I really love that relationship, and I love that he finally cemented it and called him Granddad. It was beautiful.
Even more because of the way that this episode ended. How are you out of Christmas ideas? Because family.
Don't know.
And all of this, I thought if you just added a little snow somewhere in the trees, that this could have been a perfect Christmas episode.
Yes,
as they come together, you say goodbye to Grace. I feel like Ryan should have been there to also say goodbye and to finally. Kind of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but to have closure.
Have closure and say goodbye.
And, to say goodbye to this kind of form.
A form of
their
grace
ideas,
again. And that would have been like, all right, visually I've gotten to say goodbye to someone that you can't say goodbye
to. And then Ryan says Granddad, and they go into the TARDIS as their own space, timey-wimey family to move on.
Yes, and it gives us, once again, the message of family and love, and that's important, and blah blah. And that's what a message of Christmas is, isn't it? People want to always, we have to remember what Christmas is, and giving and love and family. You're getting all of that right on this episode. That's a Christmas episode, guys.
But if you can write a better Christmas episode, submit your ideas to THS at thathashtagshow.com.
That's right.
We want to hear it. Spread it out. Spread it out to
everyone. We
just
want your ideas, so this way we can bring them together as a community and then actually present I said actual so many times, a good episode. A good Christmas episode.
For 2018.
Yeah.
We don't know if it'll be good because we will be acting it out, but we will try our best to make it as good as we can.
We'll take all the articles and also publish it on our website.
There you go. We'll take all the articles and we'll publish it. That's true.
We will publish it on our website, thathashtagshow.com. And you can see other things, like we're actually having a competition for Power Rangers, so if you wanted to enter that.
There you go. I mean, there's so much to do right there on THS, on thathashtagshow.com. But you can also check us out on social media at THS Hashtaggers. There are so many places that you can still discuss Doctor Who besides this show. Of course, you can do it in the comments and keep the conversation going there, but why not keep it live with THS Hashtaggers as well? That's something I suggest definitely for everyone. And with that, I think we've covered everything.
Yes.
Is it? Did we? That's what I didn't remember. I'm sorry.
Out of 5 sonic screwdrivers, what do you
5.
give this particular episode?
Well, if I had to give this out of 5 sonic screwdrivers, this episode, I'm correcting my grading, this episode gets a 4 for me.
Oh, and
It was so touching. It was so good, but I don't know if it was a 5 because there are parts that I wasn't too crazy about. But I did really, really enjoy this episode for what it was at the beginning, yet that frog just kind of, like, it just really went that way. Like, it
that came out of left field for sure.
It turned harder than the dude on Get Out. When he runs into the dude and he just cuts, it cut harder than that. I don't even know. But, so for that, it gets a 4. That's your punishment.
And for those of you guys in the chat, what do you guys rate this out of 5 sonic screwdrivers?
Yes.
See, I'm a little conflicted too because the beginning, for all the reasons that we already discussed, I thought was a little weird, a little froggy thing.
Yeah.
But then we got the granddad, which I think saved it. So I am actually also going to give this a 4 because otherwise it would have been like a 3 episode. Like a very average, maybe a little above average considering Doctor Who and production value. But because of the granddad, that is what saved this and gave it a higher ranking of 4 sonic screwdrivers out of 5.
So for you, it was something that was good that brought it up. For me, it was something that was bad that brought it down.
Yeah.
Yet we still meet at 4.
Yeah, on average, it's a 4.
Bad. It's not bad. So it sounds like it definitely is an average of 4, and that's what I'm interested in. We're still not getting anyone in the chat, but I do have a studio audience, and I'm gonna start asking people. So, producer, or as I like to say, the voice of God, what do you think? I would love to know what the voice of God or the TARDIS itself actually thinks of this episode.
Well, I thought it was quite good. I love the acting. I thought the granddad was something we've been waiting for this entire season.
Yes.
There you go.
Not as much monsters or classic sci-fi as we would normally see in a Doctor Who episode. So, and I was enchanted by the frog. I thought it was very Hitchhiker's Guide to the.
Oh, dang, that's right. God, that's so good.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I love live action. I love animatronics. No, the frog was very much a plus for me. But yes, it being so good, but not quite Doctor Who, a 4. I will also get a 4.
See?
We have 4s across the board.
Across the board,
here
guys.
on
I think
that hashtag
that's
show.
where we're gonna leave it. Where it's like, that's what we got. We got 4s across the board. We're missing you for JR. You're not here tonight,
But we're gonna give you a shout out anyway.
Exactly. So that's what we're looking for, just to find out exactly what everybody else thought about it. In the comments below, even after this episode, leave your comments. Let us know what you thought about the episode. You can continue the conversation in THS hashtaggers, or you can head over to that hashtag show and give us your synopsis of what you think a good Christmas episode would be. And you can send us an email at ths@thathashtagshow.com.
Yep.
So
thanks for joining us,
There you
Donnie and Edward.
Yeah.
And Thomas.
There you go. So thank you guys for joining us, and make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to that hashtag show to stay up to date with everything trending
And geek pop culture.
There you go.
Yay.
Perfect. Bye.